The Silent Triumph of Lucius. A Stoic Journey. In the bustling heart of Rome, where the forum echoed with the shouts of merchants and the impassioned pleas of orators, lived a young man named Lucius. At 25, he was eager to prove himself, an apprentice scribe with dreams of rising among the city's elite. Yet, despite his quick mind and sharp tongue, Lucius often found himself overlooked, his words drowned in the noise of a city that never slept. This is the story of a single day when Lucius discovered that true power lies not in the clamor of speech, but in the quiet strength of silence, a lesson rooted in the Stoic wisdom that would shape his destiny. Lesson 1. Silence is power. The day began with chaos. Lucius arrived at the scriptorium, a cramped room filled with the scratch of quills and the mutterings of his fellow scribes. His master, Gaius, a stern man of few words, handed him a scroll to copy, a legal decree for a senator. Eager to impress, Lucius blurted out, "I'll have this done by noon, and it'll be flawless, better than anyone else's." Gaius raised an eyebrow but said nothing, his silence cutting deeper than any rebuke. Later, as Lucius rushed, his ink smudged and the scroll was ruined. Frustrated, he cursed aloud, drawing snickers from his peers. It was then he recalled Zeno's words, "Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue." His careless boast had bound him to failure. From that moment, Lucius vowed to weigh his words, realizing silence could preserve his dignity where speech had cost him. Lesson 2. Listen first, speak last. Mid-morning, Lucius was summoned to the forum to assist a magistrate, Aelius, during a public dispute. Two merchants argued over a spoiled shipment of grain, their voices rising like a storm. Lucius, itching to prove his wit, nearly interrupted with a clever solution. But Aelius, a stoic of calm demeanor, raised a hand to silence him. "Listen," he whispered. For 10 minutes, Aelius stood still, absorbing every shouted accusation. Only then did he speak, asking a single question. "Who signed the contract?" The merchants faltered, their bluster exposed as hollow. Lucius marveled. By listening, Aelius had unraveled the truth without effort. Aristotle's wisdom echoed in his mind. It is the mark of an educated mind to entertain a thought without accepting it. Lucius saw that power lay in understanding, not in outshouting. Lesson 3. Control your words. Conquer emotions. By noon, the sun blazed and tempers flared. As Lucius returned to the scriptorium, a burly cart driver blocked his path, yelling insults over a spilled basket of figs. "Move, you clumsy fool!" the man roared. Lucius felt anger surge. His tongue burned with the retort. But he paused, remembering Epictetus. "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." He took a breath, stepped aside, and said nothing. The driver, expecting a fight, grumbled and moved on. In that silence, Lucius kept his peace, his mind clear. He saw the driver's rage as a storm he needn't join. Mastery of his words had conquered his emotions. Lesson 4. Humility unlocks true strength. Later, Lucius joined a gathering at the baths, where young men boasted of their ambitions. One bragged of his lineage, another of his wealth. Lucius, eager to fit in, nearly spoke of his senator's scroll, ruined though it was. But he stopped, recalling Gaius's quiet presence. The master never boasted, yet all respected him. Lucius stayed silent, sipping his wine. A grizzled veteran nearby noticed, nodding approvingly. "You don't prattle like the rest," he said. "That's strength." The Bible's wisdom rang true. "Set a guard over my mouth, Lord." Humility, Lucius learned, spoke louder than any self-praise, unlocking a respect he hadn't earned with words. Lesson 5. Protect your energy, guard your mind. As afternoon waned, Lucius sat by the Tiber, exhausted. He'd spent the morning chattering with peers, debating trivial gossip, Caesar's latest edict, a gladiator's defeat. Now his head throbbed, his energy drained. Marcus Aurelius's words came to him. If it is not true, do not say it. How much had he wasted on meaningless noise? He closed his eyes, letting the river's murmur wash over him. In that stillness, his thoughts sharpened. He resolved to guard his mind, to speak only what mattered. The day's earlier failures faded, silence restored his strength. Lesson 6. Silence wins in a noisy world evening brought Lucius to a banquet hosted by Aelius. The room buzzed with senators and poets, each vying for attention. A loud orator droned on about his latest verse, but eyes glazed over. Then Aelius rose. He said little, just a toast to virtue, and sat. Yet the room hushed, hanging on his brevity. Lucius saw it. In Rome's cacophony, silence stood out. Marcus Aurelius had written, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." Aelius's restraint commanded the night, while the orator's noise faded. Lucius vowed to let silence carve his path through the world's din. Lesson 7. Fewer words, greater impact. Near the banquet's end, a dispute arose over a trade deal. Voices clashed, each man shouting over the next. Lucius, tasked with recording the terms, felt the urge to mediate. Instead, he waited, recalling Epictetus. Say only what is necessary, and be brief. When a lull came, he spoke. The contract favors neither, it balances both. 10 words, no more. The room turned, nodding. Aelius smiled faintly. Lucius's brevity cut through the chaos, proving that impact lay in precision, not volume. Lesson 8. Let your actions do the talking. Night fell as Lucius returned to the scriptorium. Gaius awaited, holding a fresh scroll. "Redo it," he said, offering no praise or blame. Lucius nodded, sat, and worked in silence. Hours passed, the city quieted, and he finished. Flawless this time. He left it on Gaius's table without a word. The next day, Gaius called him over. "This is good. You're learning." No boast had been needed. The scroll spoke for him. Marcus Aurelius's charge, "Be one, don't argue about it," lived in Lucius's hands, not his tongue. His actions had proven his worth. Epilogue. A Stoic's dawn. By dawn, Lucius stood atop a hill overlooking Rome. The city stirred, its noise rising anew, but he felt different, steadier, unshaken. Silence had taught him to master his tongue, his emotions, his destiny. He didn't need to shout his ambitions, he'd lived them. The Stoic path wasn't easy, but it was clear. Control what you can, your words, your deeds, and let the rest fall away. As the sun broke the horizon, Lucius turned back to his life, a quiet resolve in his step. In a world of noise, he'd found his power. Lucius found his power not in the noise of Rome, but in the silence that shaped his soul. Now it's your turn. The world will keep shouting, but you don't have to. Take one lesson from today and live it. Speak less tomorrow. Listen more. Let your actions prove what your words never could. This isn't just a story, it's a challenge. Will you master the art of silence? Start now. Not next week, not tomorrow. Right now. Share your story above. Has silence ever changed your life? Hit like if you're ready to take control, not for me, but for you. Subscribe to join this journey, because the quietest path leads to the greatest power. Pass this video to someone who needs it. Let's build a world where actions speak louder than noise. See you in the next lesson.